You're listening to the Seven Figure Leap podcast. We're here to leverage rich relationships and smart strategies to take your business to the next level. Here's your host, Dustin Riekman.
I think it's pretty common for guys, especially men of success. By definition, you're pouring into your business with suboptimal, kind of habits. And yeah, it starts to show up in, normal's normal, right? Like you're used to kind of dragging ass and you're used to looking and kind of feeling like crap. And that was definitely my case. I was super, even though I was doing all these health protocols, I was pretty foggy. My sleep was atrocious. I was still trying to work out. I was still trying to be on top. I was managing a bunch of clients. I had Google and, Motorola and Juniper and Kaiser Permanente. I had massive clients. And yeah, it was this, things were not trending in the right direction. And again, you don't notice it as much when you're at 60% than when you get back to 100%. You're like, whoa, this is like way better and easier. And yeah, sober curious, I think, is a term for females and maybe some introverted guys that don't have friends. But sober and curious are two hot words that we would never use. It's not even about being curious about sobriety. It's really about, what have you built? How long do you want to keep it? How long do you want to enjoy it? And do you want to go out in a painful, predictive whimper is really kind of what this is about. This is just a simple conversation around, what do you need for health? You need sleep, diet, and fitness. And that informs your sexual health, your brain health, your cognition, your energy, your hormones, your look and feel, your body composition. And as you get older, your body gets less good. And so you could continue to drink less, like I did. Like I went from, drinking more liberally to more like 2 or 3 drinks on Friday and Saturday night as I got older, but that was still enough to dysregulate these key systems. And so it's really a gift to share with people. Cause like I said, I think a lot of my peers we're kind of in the subset, the younger generations are kind of whatever, they have weed and dating apps and different things that we didn't have, or legally. And then the older generation is like, yeah, they're kind of out of the game. But I think kind of that 40 to 55-year-old demographic is really that inflection point where, yeah, you've kind of got the levels of success. You've checked off a lot of the boxes with your, your zip codes and your families and your vacations, but it's really about, are you enjoying it? And it's really, it sounds kind of lame, but I'm really advocating for the guy that has it all. It's like that poor guy that has it all, because I look around, I see in Silicon Valley, I see in Southern California, I see wherever I go, they're not living, they look great on paper, but their blood work sucks. Their sleep is, they're dragging ass during the work week. Their weekends are hectic. They're not present with their families. And again, it's not a judgment. It's just the reality of the machinery of when you're not sleeping well, when you have a leaky gut, you have stomach problems, you're picking up prescription pills with side effects. It's very predictive. And this is an inflection point where we can massively improve 99% of issues because it's diet and lifestyle related. And you can't make any money updating your diet and lifestyle and impacting changes in these key and critical areas, whether it's your blood pressure or brain fog or depression or anything like that, if you can't re-regulate if you're actively dysregulating. So I was really kind of trying to have a conversation, because I'm not going to say, hey guys, you want to try sobriety? Are you sober curious? Like, that's not in our vernacular. It's really like, hey, how long you want to kick ass for? Or do you want to like go out in a painful whimper? And it sounds kind of harsh and like I'm over the top, but the reality is, you've been drinking for 20 years, you have belly fat, you have the CPAP machine. I mean, you got high blood pressure. These are all pre-disease symptoms that aren't getting better. They're getting worse, and you have a shorter and shorter time. And so, a booze vacation in essence is kind of a 3 to 12 month break. And you're playing offense, not defense. You have a plan. You know what you're going to say. You're actively re-regulating these key systems of health to get as much gains as possible. So you're looking better, you're feeling better, you're screwing better, you have more money, everything's easier. Yeah, it's a little bit Twilight Zoning when you want to bail the party at 12 and not stay there till 3 a.m. There's different games, but it's ultimately a trade-off. And it's really just about protecting your empire, protecting your sanity, and having flexibility. Like I said, it's not sobriety. It's not like you can't go back to having a couple drinks, but it's about resetting that program, because with tolerance and age and wear and tear and less time and more responsibility, the health and performance can really spiral and can really paint you into a corner. And then once you kind of get into that medical system, things are real expensive. They're not very effective, and it's not very fun. So we're all about having a good time and enjoying what we've built. And like I said, I think one of the many epiphanies I had is what got me to those levels of success, these killer parties and networks and these big scions that I partner with that flowed a ton of business with me. What got me there isn't what's going to keep me there, and it's going to help me enjoy it. And that's just the reality. So it's about kind of updating the operating system and learning how to do these things, learning how to get back to 100%. So when you ask the guy that's at 100%, what do you want, is going to be a way different conversation than the guy that's stuck at 60%, dragging ass and just kind of trying to get his cookie at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think one of the most important frameworks or paradigms that you shared, and it's something that I can relate deeply to. We'll get more into my story here shortly, but this idea that when you're operating at 60%, especially in this environment of like, I'm an entrepreneur, I've got a family, like I'm always tired, I'm always on the go, I'm always stressed, like that kind of becomes that's just kind of who I am. It becomes part of your identity. What you don't ever realize, you don't realize you're at 60% because you haven't felt 100, maybe ever, or at least not in years, and you don't know the difference, right? When you don't have that contrast, you just don't know what you don't know. I think someone once told me, they were talking about alcohol particularly, but like kind of all these things you're talking about would fall in this category. Like a lot of times we're playing life on hard mode and we don't even realize it, right? Like, so if you think of video games, you can click on hard mode and you realize it's like way harder. It's way different than the standard mode. And a lot of times we put ourselves on hard mode with different lifestyle choices that we're making. And we just don't know the difference, right? And so I think I really like the idea of what you're advocating is like a vacation. It doesn't need to be a permanent choice, but like if you get enough space from your current lifestyle and you get to kind of try on a new lifestyle or some significant changes in that lifestyle, then you can tell the difference and then you can make an informed decision about what you want to do from there forward, right? You may be like, you know what, I actually like the 60% mode and I like going to these parties and drinking, and like then you're making a conscious choice. But I think especially as entrepreneurs, we just kind of default ourselves into this hard mode or the 60% effectiveness mode without ever realizing we're in it, and we don't know what it feels like to not be in it. And so we can't make a good choice about the lifestyle, choices and protocols and things that we're living.
That's ultimately what this is about, is giving guys a choice.
Yes.
The current system that I see within myself and peer groups is the choice is to drink less and cut back, or take off dry January when you're sick and picked up 20 pounds and there's nothing going on. And then Super Bowl Sunday rolls around or I'm drinking wine instead of beer, or I'm only, all these lame choices. And the reality is, and I figured this out intuitively, but then, all this information has come out, but the typical dude's going to need 3 to 6 months just to get their brain back online. You have a shrunken prefrontal cortex, you have a rewire neural circuitry for constant negative states, not even when you're drinking, just throughout the day. High anxiety, low mood, and you lack discipline and impulse control. You're tanking testosterone directly. You have extra belly fat, which is estrogenic, and you're not sleeping well, so you're not optimizing these hormones. So that's also drive and libido and the ability and enjoyment of doing hard things. So you just get softer and softer, and it's really nebulous because it's like everybody's doing it. It's in all your shows. I don't drink that much. I don't drink as much as Bob does. And so everything's fine, but you don't realize the impact it has. And it's not about taking a break and moping around in your basement. It's about actively getting after it. It's about still being social, and it's about really intentionally fixing these systems as quickly as possible. Metabolic health is taking a beating. Your brain's taking a beating. Your gut's taking a beating. You're carrying aches and pains. You haven't been working out. So it's really about resetting that. And then the wrapper and the mindset and that the shared meme of booze vacation is it's a flex. I'm taking my health seriously. I'm living the life of the beer commercial without the bad blood work, boner problems, and BS that all the other people are. So that's the reality. It's just about, getting yours. And it is kind of a selfish thing, right? You're like, hey, you're in this crew. All my buddies, this is how my buddies roll. I'm kind of going against them. I'm doing these things differently. So I kind of feel like an imposter. Like, why am I going to bed on time? Why am I bailing early from the party? So, if you don't re-regulate these key systems, you're going to feel like crap. You're still going to feel like crap. You're just not going to be as stuck in some of these unconscious loops. So you really have to get back to 100% as quickly as possible and start really kind of updating the operating system and figuring out a game plan. Or it's very easy to kind of just get sucked back into mediocrity, because that's kind of how most dudes roll. And those are men of success, So that's kind of the crazy part.